With the travel industry brought to its knees during COVID-19, we've seen thousands of workers put out of work. Our next guest motivates teams in the industry to achieve extraordinary results, increase customer satisfaction, boost profitability by understanding and growing emotional and social behaviour through the business. We're joined by Nicole O'Sullivan, Director at Bird's Eye View Consulting. Thanks so much for your time, Nicole.
Thanks so much for having me.
We often think about economic problems as just numbers on a page, but right now we're very much learning about the emotional side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now it's really about being kind to yourself, because there's lots happening out there that's a little bit out of our control, isn't it?
What does be kind to yourself actually mean?
So really it's about understanding that right now, in the travel industry especially, the rug is being pulled out literally from underneath everybody. And so this is about the time now to be working on your own skills, so that when business is actually going to come back, it's going to be a way that you can navigate through your thoughts and feelings confidently, as well as identifying feelings and emotions more easily with your customers. So no doubt the travel companies at the moment are feeling quite stressed and scared about what the future looks like. So uncertainty is going to make it really hard to think clearly and put some really good short-term goals in place now, because if we don't get ahead of the curve in terms of getting back to what the travel industry is that we know and love, it's just going to be hard to navigate through what we need to look at for future. We're going to be stuck a little bit in the past. So this is around, each day keeping yourself really busy and focused on small things.
I just want to ask you about those. You mentioned short-term goals and you mentioned each day keeping yourself busy. What sort of things should people be doing, particularly if they're unemployed, they've been unemployed for a few weeks? And we also think of the long-term unemployed who will be feeling even more difficult right now, that they're now up against so many people, fresh candidates who have more recent experience, for example. What are the short-term goals people should be having?
Oh, look, at the moment, especially, a lot of people in the travel space have a really good database of customers. And I think right now we're feeling a little bit reactionary. We're, talking about the refund processes and all the things that are going on in that space. But right now, look at proactively. So, it could be little goals like, getting a refund back for a customer, like get those little things that are happening in your world right now and set those up instead of looking for future goals. So think also about how you can connect to your customer and really stand out and make a difference. So you're not just calling them about the doom and gloom, you're actually calling them about, oh, it's your birthday today, or oh, it's your anniversary, or what is the next trip that you're actually planning, so that we can talk about it and really start to get excited about the little things right now, because long term is going to be a little while away, I think.
Yeah, and also people who have higher levels of EI, emotional intelligence, are actually more effective, impactful in life. Is that also the case when it comes to the workplace at a time like now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, empathy right now is the most important thing that you could be having in your business, not just from a leadership perspective, but from a person-to-person perspective. So customers are feeling a little bit doubtful and suspicious at the moment, especially around travel agencies. So it's really important now that we are in tune and regulate what we're feeling, so that we're able to then have those really great conversations with our customers and understand that how they're feeling, but also relay how we're feeling. So it is important, the emotional intelligence space at the moment, to really ramp up that human-to-human connection. So yeah, definitely.
Do you think some bosses are scared of seeing people who have too much empathy?
Oh, no. I mean, I guess there's that empathy versus sympathy. You've got to look at the two, and there's definitely a vast difference between the two. Empathy is just being able to really understand you and then understand the person, but not sympathise or sympathise and empathise at the same time. So it's understanding and regulating your understanding of the situation and being able to really relay that to the customer, so that they feel safe, that they're in really good hands.
And who are the people who are better, would you say, at emotional intelligence compared to those who aren't? Are there any telltale signs? Is there any way to be broad-ranging, or is it person to person?
Look, emotional intelligence is one of the things that you can grow. It's not like your IQ. IQ is generally set in stone, but your EQ is it fluctuates. So it really is about how you are able to put your finger on the pulse on yourself and understand and regulate your feelings and emotions. And once someone can identify what those are in your spectrum for yourself, then you're able to then work on little bits and pieces of how you're going to grow that emotional intelligence, for sure.
And how do we measure emotional intelligence? You mentioned IQ tests. There are plenty. What do you do about emotional intelligence?
There's also tests for your EQ as well, and that's obviously something that I specialise in. I do a lot of EQ testing so that I can help navigate teams on finding gaps of where they can actually bond together and look at how they grow that social awareness, that self-awareness, and all those things that are helping motivating them to get through to the next stages. So yeah, absolutely, that's what I love to do, is to be able to help identify those gaps for people so that they can actually look at those short-term goals and work on themselves and their own skills.
Yeah, Nicole, really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.